Hey, I want to talk a little bit about how symptoms are a normal part of being human. And just because you heal and find complete freedom doesn't mean that you're never going to get another headache or you're not going to have some looping thoughts or intrusive thoughts come in every once in a while because it's part of being human. As we know, symptoms are a messenger. And I want to share a little bit about my personal experience as someone who's been healed for a few years now from chronic symptoms and tell you something that's a little bit more vulnerable, I guess, than a lot of the things that I share because this is present day. This is, a recent situation. So, yesterday I showed up to do a podcast interview, and normally I just talk about my story and that's it. Well, the host and I kind of had this conversation before the interview, and it brought up a topic about something that really, didn't have much to do. It didn't have anything to do with my healing story, actually. And it was a very controversial topic and something that I tried to forget about, something that happened a few years ago for me and a couple years ago. And I worked through it, and I decided to leave it in the past and move on. And I haven't talked about it or thought about it in a while. So I do this this podcast, and I'm talking about all these things I haven't talked about in a long time, hadn't thought about in a long time. And it was a really painful experience that I went through a couple years ago that I'm kind of bringing up. Well, after, it's the thoughts just flooded me. They're just coming left and right. All of these, intrusive thoughts of every tiny little thing about the interview. And it was very overwhelming. And I actually last night, or it wasn't last night. I think I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, or maybe it was early this morning after I let the dogs out and got back in bed before my alarm went off. I don't remember exactly when it was, but at some point I woke up, and I'm going back to sleep, and the thoughts just keep coming about this interview. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think, and I start entertaining these thoughts about the interview. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I say that one thing was going on for 3 years? Was it 3 years? I don't know if it was 3 years. Maybe it was a year and a half. Oh my gosh, am I going to get in trouble? Is someone going to find out? You know, what if I accidentally, wasn't recalling that correctly? And oh my gosh, did I come off as like prideful and egocentric and that I was better than everyone else? I mean, am I going to get a bunch of hate when this comes out? What's going to happen? I'm just spiraling, literally. And um I stopped, like when I recognized what was happening, I stopped and I talked to myself like a little baby Chelsea. I'm like, baby girl, it's going to be all right, honey. You're safe. You did your best. The people who know you they know you. They're not going to think anything of it. They know your heart. And if anyone wants to judge you, that's their business. And it says a lot more about them than it does about you. It's going to be okay. So just take a deep breath. Let it all go, baby girl. I got you. It's going to be okay. And I went back to sleep. I fell asleep. This morning, the thoughts come flooding. And at this point, I'm just kind of like allowing them to be there and move through me and whatever, but they keep coming and they keep coming and they keep coming, and I can't concentrate on anything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go outside. And just observe what emotions are lying underneath this. I was afraid. I was feeling afraid. I was kind of like dreading this interview coming out. I'm like, who's going to hear this? Who's going to see this? Um, what are people going to think of me? Are people going to judge me? What's going to happen to me? Um, I had some anger and frustration because if I had never experienced what I experienced a couple years ago in the first place, I wouldn't be in this situation having to talk about it and feel all these things, right? Just frustrated about, that experience and everything I went through. And I'm just allowing myself to feel all of this. And I also allowed myself to tap into these more like joyful and uplifting emotions and allow those to be there too. Like, you know what? I am damn proud of myself that I can actually talk about hard things in a public setting. I mean, I kept secrets my entire life. I didn't tell anyone about anything. It was hard for me to tell the truth. I lied about a lot of things growing up. I kept a lot of secrets. Um, I told a lot of half truths. I couldn't be myself. And I was myself in that interview. And you know what? I'm proud of that. So it doesn't matter how it comes across to other people. I'm just proud of myself that I can actually be in a position to share my thoughts, share my experiences, open up about really hard things. That is a big deal for someone like me. And, that's part of what led me to be in this position of having chronic symptoms to begin with, was like stuffing all of this crap from all of, from forever, just all these experiences, all these, thoughts and feelings and emotions, and just stuffing it all down and just trying to avoid it. You know what? There was no avoiding it. He asked me, he was like, would you care if the host was like, would you care if we shift the whole premise of this interview and talk about this instead? I could have said, you know what, I'm not comfortable with that. No, I don't want to. But I'm done hiding. Like, I'm ready to just be me and embrace every part of me and every experience I've had and get honest about it. And that's how I get to be free. I don't have to hide anymore. I don't have to shrink anymore. I can just be. And so when I took the time outside to just really reflect on all of these feelings I was having, I was able to just keep moving. And the thoughts didn't keep coming. It's been a great day. So I just wanted to share that because I know it's something a lot of people struggle with, these looping thoughts, these intrusive thoughts, and, what do we do with them? And there's no perfect recipe, okay? There is no there's no instruction manual when it comes to tools and techniques. Like, do I allow it? Do I embrace it? Do I do I have the attitude to bring it on? Do I breathe through it? Do I feel it inside my body? What do I do? And it's like, what feels right? Like, what feels good, and natural in this moment? Like, let's just be in the flow. Let's not try to figure it out. Let's just rest in whatever this, you know, is. And it's naturally going to work itself out, and that's the thing. Every time, not every time, that's probably a little exaggeration, but I try to have that kind of mindset whenever I do have a random symptom that comes on, whether it is a headache or, a little ache or, whatever. And that it doesn't happen very often. Um, I was in a constant state of symptoms for decades. It was always something. But when I do have these messengers alert me, um, I just follow my inner guide. Like what feels right and good and helpful right now, and just be in the flow, not try to figure it out, not try to analyze it. Sometimes it's a matter of just being like, oh, I was probably pissed off about that, and that's why this is happening, and whatever. Sometimes it's just, oh, that's interesting, and I just go on about my day. Sometimes it's, I might need to feel some things that I've been avoiding, right? What if we could just be playful and run experiments? And, what if you didn't have to take yourself so seriously and just let loose a little bit and have fun? Like, I know it's not easy. And it took some practice to get to this place of just embrace it, you know? It's taught me a lot. This journey has taught me a lot. And I'm telling you what, like if I didn't have all these symptoms and have all this, all these conditions and all the things I went through, I don't know if I would be as free. Like, I don't know if I would actually feel this level of like freedom. I've learned so much about myself, and I just am grateful. I feel like I'm going on a tangent now. So until next time.